Hello and welcome to another episode of the NRL podcast. And how good is it to be going live after the Bulldogs put in possibly their best performance they've ever had in 10 years. I am so excited to be here, boys. I am G'd for the Dogs. They are proving to us that they are the real deal. And you know what? More importantly, they're proving it to everyone else in the competition that we are here and we are serious and that they need to be bloody careful. So excited, boys. I can't tell you how happy I am after that win against the Broncos. I think one of the things that makes me really, really happy about that win was that, you know what? Even the most diehard supporters, all the fans that are diehard Bulldogs, because of all the trauma that they've been through, they doubted. They said that we probably won't win. But I never once faltered. You can ask, you can go and check on my Twitter account. I did not for 1 second think that the Bulldogs were going to lose. I had full faith in the team. And let me tell you, when they repay that faith with the performances that they had on the weekend, bro, I'm one happy chappy. You cannot understand how happy I am after that win. And look, we're going to go through the match. We're going to go through who stood out. We're going to do a lot of discussing of the game. This week, what we'll also be doing is we'll also be going through some of the other games in the round. I think moving forward, we're going to continue to be doing that just because I think every round is going to have an impact on the top 8, on the top 4, and I think it'll just be good to sort of go through it with you guys. Want to give a quick shout out to Jamie Teasdale's always there, Rigby Illusion, John Sad, Greg Hayward, Morris Collins. How you doing, Morris? And I just want to quickly mention Jamie Teasdale and Dib have a little Bulldogs logo next to their name, and that's because they are members. And there's going to be a lot more of that stuff coming up in the future. But quickly, as you can see, Dib's in the chat. Want to give a very, very lovely welcome hello to our wonderful co-host Dibbo, who has not had as good of a weekend as the Bulldogs.
Matter of fact, it was a terrific weekend for me, to be honest. I went out to a Friday night game. Parramatta versus, they got shellacked and I've already forgotten who they've played. Melbourne. I went to that game. Didn't feel like Melbourne even came out of third gear. I just want to thank my mates from Democo. So Democo, who do asbestos removals, just one of our, clientele, taking me to that event. So I had a nice catering corporate box. One of the guys there's a big Parramatta fan, so I think he's already given up on the season, but you go there.
You reckon they're coming second last? Of course they've given up on the season.
But what I'm saying is you go there and you admire some great footy players. And obviously from the Melbourne side, like Cam Munster made his comeback. We got to see some Pappenhausen out there, and obviously you got to see Big Nass. He got for a lot of defensive work. Just some of those sort of guys. Harry Grant probably played
okay,
better than he's played in a while.
Yeah, I just think he's been a bit poor, to be honest. I think he's been a bit poor. But anyway.
And then we saw the Canterbury team on Saturday. That was, I think, that was amazing. Like everyone, I was at the footy down at Todd Park watching the Cougars versus Engadine Dragons, and we were following it on the phone there. And, we were amazed and impressed by the Bulldogs. Like, a lot of us were just happy to be proven wrong. Like, that was absolutely sensational. And then you had some good games throughout that there. You had the Roosters and Manly. They went down to the wire. And then the Dolphins got upset by the Titans after jumping out of the blocks early. I went down to Wollongong to watch the Dragons versus the Panthers. Now, I did tip the Panthers by plenty. But honestly, I was just watching Penrith. Well, really, I was only watching what Cleary and Luai do out there, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. I can't believe that partnership's been broken apart. I just observed them the whole game. I don't think Penrith got out of second or third gear. They could have.
Anyway, we'll get to all those games.
What a great weekend I had.
We'll get to all those games. You mentioned a few things. We have to talk about this game, this performance by the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Holden Forever says beating the Broncos was a nice early birthday present for him. I'm very glad as I mentioned in the comments.
Mate.
Yeah, happy birthday. And
who was it, Rob Ramsey?
No, Holden Forever.
I was thinking
about him actually when the Bulldogs were shellacking them. I was like, Yeah, there's some Doggies fans up in Brisbane that are going to be very, very, very happy. Rob Ramsey saying, never doubted we could win, but didn't see us scoring 40.
Just on Doggies fans up in Brisbane, sorry to interrupt, but you guys see that viral clip of the guy that had the dog, the dog colour, he did the dog face.
That was weird, bro.
I found that funny.
I found that weird, bro. That was
funny. I was laughing my head off. These Doggies fans, they've come out in droves.
He must have had just a couple too many, I think, at that point.
It was funny.
But what I found amazing, just on the supporters up in Brisbane, was just how loud the supporters were. I spoke to a couple of guys that were up in the game. I spoke to a couple of people from the club as well, and they were saying that they think they would have had probably around 10K Bulldog supporters there. And if you heard the supporter base, they were loud, and you could hear them through the TV chanting Bulldogs up in Suncorp at 3 p.m. on a Saturday on a fast track with Brisbane having their whole team. It was a sight to behold. Now, we're talking up the Bulldogs. Look, I have to set the site. I have to set the scene. I have to here, because you can't overstate how big of an occasion this was, right? A 3 p.m. game against the Brisbane Broncos up in Suncorp with their full strength side, minus a couple here and there that would have been nice to have as opposed to being, a necessities for the team. The Broncos are 13th on the ladder and had just beaten a miserable night. They needed to win this game to give themselves a chance at making the top 8. 2 days before the game, the Dogs announced that Stephen Crichton is out because of a neck injury and a pinched nerve. We're already missing Max King, right, who has been a keystone, a key man for us up front. And Salmon was out with a broken jaw. And everybody was doubting the Bulldogs. Everybody tipped against them. I don't think there was a single pundit that tipped the Bulldogs. I don't think there was a single fan, definitely not on Twitter and definitely not on the kennel.net.au, that actually believed the Bulldogs would win. Except me. I tipped the Bulldogs.
Watch out, Brian in the chat. He'll get pretty pissed off if you don't include him. I'm telling you now.
I don't know.
Brian tipped the Dogs for the top 8 from the start of the year.
So did I.
And,
I did too.
Everyone laughed at him, so don't miss him out. He'll get upset.
I remember you laughed at me too. Do you remember? Yes, Bill Sam, we are live.
I had him 10th, but I didn't laugh at you.
And, I think, Zata has mentioned that the odds were $3.30. I mean, either the people who are setting the odds are stupid, they don't know footy, or we genuinely know our team. And it's one thing to go up there and beat them by 2, beat them by 4 in a gritty game. It's another to go up there and literally blow them off the park. It's not just the fact that we won up in Suncorp. It is everybody was against us. Everybody believed that we were going to lose. Even fans thought we were going to lose. And I'll tell you what, they went up there and they gave a big middle finger to absolutely everybody in the competition. The Bulldogs are here to play ball. They're not here to make up the numbers. The Bulldogs are not here to be also-rans. The Bulldogs are here to kick ass. And I know that Brian is talking about Sexton and so on. Believe me.
What did Brian say about Sexton?
He wants me to apologise.
He's not going to let it go.
And I'm not going to pay too much attention to it, but I've got a whole section written just on Sexton's performance, because I thought there was some special signs there from Sexton. And what did you think, Dibbo?
About Sexton?
Just overall.
The whole team?
Yeah.
I think it was their best performance in maybe 7-8 years, maybe longer.
10 years, I reckon.
Yeah, like if you want to go back to that 14 season, like they did some. I remember they had some cracking performances in 15 and 16. But it's good to see them back. They're one of the bigger clubs in Sydney. They got probably the most dedicated, passionate fan base. When their side's going good, they'll get you 40,000 to a game every week. Can you imagine if they were building a dynasty like what Penrith's doing? They would. I mean, Belmore wouldn't get it looking. Like even this week, I think the officials, good on them. They're taking the game back to Belmore.
It's been sold out for 2 weeks.
And I guarantee you, if that game was at Telstra, I know it's Canberra out of town team, 3 hours away. But they'll guarantee they get 30, 35 minimum to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm being polite. And it's pretty cold, but they'll get a massive crowd. But can you imagine if Canterbury was going like this for about 5-6 years straight? They would be getting 40,000 plus. Some teams are going good and early, getting 15 to 20,000. So
Shark.
Not even 15,000, the Sharks. But I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out how they probably got the biggest and most passionate supporter base in all of Sydney. And they probably spend the most on their side, like in terms of merchandise and other paraphernalia.
But they turned Caxton Road into freaking Canterbury Belmore Road. They absolutely... Look, for me...
I'm excited to see Burwood Road in Belmore.
Oh, bro. Oh,
in the finals.
Imagine? Man, I remember in 2014 when we made the semi-finals, it felt like we were in a grand final. It was just that type of feeling. And you know what's interesting? I'll tell you what I think is really, really different about this team. One of the guys from the kennel.net.au, Mintic, he flew up to Brisbane with his kid, diehard doggies supporter, right? And he said that he was staying in the same hotel as the team.
As the Bulldogs?
As the Bulldogs, right?
What hotel was this? Just for future reference?
I didn't ask what hotel it was, to be honest. I should have, but...
Just tip off everyone, will you?
So what he said was, actually, before the game kicked off, they saw Kurt Mann in the lobby, and he actually went he went up in the elevator with them. And they asked him, they said, how do you think you guys are going to go? And Kurt Mann, before the game, actually said to him...
Super confident,
Excuse me. He said to him, we have a game plan that if we execute... So they were in the elevator with Kurt Mann, and they asked Kurt Mann how he thinks the team is going to go against the Broncos. This is before the game, right? Kurt Mann said to him, we have a good game plan, and if we execute the game plan, we are going to beat Brisbane by plenty. These were Kurt Mann's words. So it's not like they went in there and did something nice, right? Or did something good without having a plan. No, they planned to smash the Brisbane Broncos.
Somebody called you a James Graham lookalike.
Mate, I'm honoured to be a James Graham lookalike. I'll tell you what. In one of those celebrations, after we won that semi-final in 2014,
here we go.
People actually mistook me for James Graham. I'm not even
joking.
joking.
Look how happy he is.
Bro, this is why you're a Bulldog supporter, because the energy that you get from other fans, the passion that Bulldog supporters have for their team, it is just... it's just remarkable. And, Brian Dibbs mentioning that the Seraldo Taylor game plan was one of the best I've seen.
Brian hasn't stopped going on about that. Can I just point out something to you Dogs fans? Got to be super proud. Like, he's went up. It's Queensland, 2 games back away from home. Everyone expects us to come back 0-2. He's bottled it the week before, because I still stick by you guys should have beaten the Cowboys by 13 plus, probably around 14 points. He's bottled it. Everyone thought, okay, a desperate Brisbane, you aren't going to get the win, I didn't tip the Dogs. I think I tipped them to lose by 8 points. They didn't only come back and win. They didn't win close. They absolutely destroyed them, kicked out, and then they put an end to last year's grand finalist season.
I agree.
They emphatic comeback. Put that previous week behind them and just went kaboom. They got a Canberra side trying to fight for the top 8. I don't think they'll have the firepower to match them.
We'll get to the Canberra game. We'll break that down a little bit. But I want to talk about that performance and the game plan, right? So there's been a lot of comments in the chat by Brian and...
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Finch is the happiest I've seen him since I've known him, to be honest. Because I'll tell you one thing about Finch. I mean, he's laughing and smiling and he's really praising all the players. But I can tell you now, Finch, for the last 5 years, all you've done is absolutely trash the place.
So... And look, the Bulldogs struggled. The Bulldogs struggled for many years, and that win, it was sort of the, if I put it this way, it was that monkey off the back. It was the winning games where we were always expected to lose. It was the performing in big moments when we wanted our team. There have been many, many instances over the last 8-9 years where we would expect the team to go out and show some courage, and they didn't. And we've just gotten used to our team not being able to perform, just sort of bending over, keeling over, not being able to show the courage, not having the backbone. But for once, we're doing it to others. And not only any other, we're doing it to grand finalists of the previous year. And, I want to say very quickly, Chip98, he's saying, as a Dragons fan, I'm assuming, congrats to the Bulldogs. I wish Dragons can make the 8 because I'd like to see Bulldogs versus Dragons first week. Look,
they're always good games to
They
go.
are, but
I've been to quite a bit over the years.
I don't think the Dragons have the mental fortitude
they
to go to
don't.
the finals.
It's regardless of the mental fortitude, they don't have the personnel to be in the top 8. And it was laid bare on the weekend. Like, they had a kind draw this year.
I thought they were really good.
I had them. Remember, we had the start of the year. We had our predictions. I think I had them 15th or 14th. I mean, they've exceeded expectations for me. I don't think they have a good lineup.
I reckon that. Look, honestly, I do want to talk about the Dragons. I just want to be very quickly. I want to talk about that game plan. Now, credit has to be given to Ciraldo. Credit has to be given to Ciraldo for getting buy-in. I think that's not easy to do when you turn over so many players. And you get these new guys in that absolutely buy in. But it's not just the new players that they bought. It's the guys that are coming up. Like Harry Hayes has had 2 really good games coming off the bench with no real experienced prop there to support him. Right? He's just come on and he's played like he's.
I think now I remember we did an episode at the start of the year. And I think it's our second highest rating episode ever. And you know what that episode was? I think we got about 4,000 views. Yeah. It was, is this the greatest rebuild in NRL history?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think you guys got no surviving player from the year, and that was only 2 years ago, from the wooden spoon year. Is that right?
No, we had one.
Who?
Chris Patolo.
He's just unfortunate at the moment. Okay, you got one, right?
One.
But he's mind-boggling. You have cleaned out the place in the space of a year. He's had a horror run with injuries last year. And then now, you aren't only challenging for a... I think he won't only just get a home final, and if he's don't, it's because he's made the top 4. Everything suggests your form, the players are playing with belief, with intensity, they're playing for each other. These guys believe. They believe they can go all the way. I mean, they've had narrow losses against Penrith and Melbourne. Who are they? Don't worry about the naysayers. Look what he's just did at Brisbane. And last year's grand finalist.
We all thought, how they performed against the Panthers was a fluke, or how they performed against the Storm was a fluke. But no, that wasn't a fluke. That's us. That's the Bulldogs. We will grind out a win against anyone.
I just want to point out something.
And we had, don't forget, sorry, I want to mention, we had Hutchison as 7 for those games. If we had Sexton...
Yeah, can I point out something? There was a reason behind that. So now at the start, we were at 6s and 7s.
I'm with you.
Everyone was, but the more longer it went on, it's the same way that why Madge had Jake Trbojevic in State of Origin. There was a reason behind their madness, and they never need to explain themselves to us, especially if it comes off.
And they've earned our trust.
I just want to point out something. The Bulldogs have a blueprint for all those struggling sides out there.
I agree.
On how to what?
Rebuild. Not
just rebuild, but defend. Have you seen, don't worry about the missed tackles. Those missed tackles are forced because they're rushing, their line speed.
Yeah.
A lot of teams will use that blueprint on how to improve their defense or how to play that.
That jamming style.
That whatever that style you want to call it, that negative style in just really off-put sides. I reckon it's going to be a blueprint for the next few years for a number of sides that are struggling.
And I completely agree with you because I think...
And also they had a no dickheads policy. Teams that weren't bought into the culture. I mean, players rather aren't bought into the culture.
So actually, Ciraldo was speaking on SEN Network, and he was saying, we didn't go out and buy utilities. We went out and bought good blokes. That's literally what he said, that we went out and bought good blokes. And, that resonates a little bit because when you look at how the team is performing and you look at they're playing for each other, it doesn't happen by accident, right? You've got to believe what... the coach is selling, or you've got to buy what the coach is selling. Otherwise, you're not going to be all bought in. We actually had more missed tackles. We had more missed tackles than the Broncos. Can you believe that? We had more missed tackles than the Broncos.
Yeah, but there's a reason why behind that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably one insignificant stat. I think it's because they've rushed up, and then that missed tackle might be just a shit grab because the players dodged away.
But there's 3 there to support you.
Straight into another pole, another big body, and that's wrapped them, and they've just rendered them ineffective. But... the talking point for a while has been the Bulldogs' defence. On the weekend, the talking point was not just the defence, but how dynamic that attack was. They scored some absolutely scintillating and entertaining tries on the weekend. I loved some of them. There was that Preston massive line break. There was the crossfield kick, the one that scooped up by Carraz.
My God.
There was another one that Skelton should have scored. I don't know what he was doing putting on the brakes, but... that's the best attack I've seen from the Bulldogs in about maybe 8-9 years. I'm being honest here. They absolutely put on the afterburners.
It was 10 line breaks to 1.
Yeah, they put on the afterburners.
Morris
dark
Collins
horse
is
now.
saying it was amazing, like somebody flicked a switch. And Brad Cambridge as well saying hats off to Jason Taylor bringing his attack. Soraldo has that Taylor organised. What a great assistant coach. He has the halfback brain still and helping Sexton out with his game plan. So what I wanted to talk about, right, was Soraldo actually, when he went on to Send Network, he said quite confidently and quite unabashedly that it was all Jason Taylor, that attacking plan. He gave the attack to Jason Taylor, and Jason Taylor came up with that plan, and he's the one that got them to execute that plan. So, when at the beginning of the year, everyone was like, "Oh, is Jason Taylor the right person? He wasn't a good head coach. He wasn't this. He wasn't that." But he's like, to see the way that they were able to go from scoring 18 points against the Cowboys, then to score 40 points against the Broncos. Sure, the Broncos were poor, but for us to be able to execute the way we executed, the passing was slick and it was very intentional. It was very deliberate. There were a couple of cutout passes by Burton that I was smart. You don't understand. A couple of those that set up those tries.
You were jumping up and down, eh?
Bro, I was watching it with I was actually watching it with a Cowboys fan, and I can tell
you now, Finch was jumping up and down.
Bro, I was going crazy, and I said, I had to apologize because I was being so loud. He said, bro, you deserve to be loud.
We were at the bar, we were like, wow, like, oh my God, the Dogs are killing him. Like, it was, it was a shock, but at the same time, some of those tries, we were just like oohing and ahhing in awe.
And you know what? It's hard to say that the Broncos were just bad. It's hard to say that the Broncos were just bad. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Brian Dibb. Bro, you're an absolute champion. You just gave us our first super chat ever. That means so much to us, bro. He's asked, do we need Addo-Carr back? Or what to do with Skelton?
Can we, you got a questionnaire section? Because, I can tell you now, I looked at the questionnaires. It looks like Brian's asking the same sort of question that Finch is.
Oh, yeah.
Can we leave it for the questionnaire section, or do we address now?
I mean, he's gave us super chat. He's gave us $2 for that.
I'm going to ask it. Yep, go for it.
So I guess we'll both answer the question. I'll give you a very, very quick sort of opinion on that. I think we do need Addo-Carr back. Why I think we need Addo-Carr back is because Addo-Carr brings an energy and an experience that I think Wilson still doesn't have yet. And taking him out of the team or removing him from the team would do more harm than good. Cumulatively, we might think that Wilson is better, but can you imagine what it would do to the culture of the team if someone like Fox, who was there, who signed with us in our worst times, has stuck by us, we just get rid of him? I just don't think it's the right time to join, right? To get rid of Fox. So I think that he adds more than the sum of his parts, in my honest opinion. I know that Skelton deserves to be there, and I think, he ran for over 300 metres. Imagine getting rid of someone. Imagine dropping someone that just ran 300 metres, made 2 line breaks, was absolutely incredible on the weekend. It's tough, but you know what? This is the sign of a successful team where you have competition for positions and you need to leave some very, very good players out.
Look, Addo-Carr brings a winning culture like Crichton. Mm-hmm. It's just... I remember last year, Kikau kept getting injured.
Yeah.
And when he's just got frustrated, is he worth it or not? But he's come good this year. This year, it's gone the other way. It's poor. Addo-Carr keeps getting injured, but just what's taken the gloss, well, he's an absolute strike weapman. He's a finisher. He's probably the best finisher in the game, him and Brian Dole. But his replacements, Wilson and Skelton, are absolutely killing it, I still think you guys need him. It's just a really, really tough one. That's the only thing, I'd love to see Addo-Carr there. If he's not the fastest player in the game, he's in the top 5 fastest player. He's an absolute strike weapon. He's popular on the field. He's popular off the field.
The team loves him. He was there.
He's a difference.
Bro, he was there.
He'll still give you a lot of kick return and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he's there to score tries.
Can you imagine, honestly,
He's there to finish
I know
off.
Wilson's quick, but
and save tries.
Can you imagine Fox on the end of some of those early spreads?
No, he would have scored 2-3 that Skelton couldn't have scored.
You know what?
He definitely would have scored him.
I'm calling this now.
That's crazy.
I think that the Bulldogs, that Fox will score a hat-trick this week.
I can't see why not.
I reckon Fox is going to score a hat-trick. And, oh my God, Zatar.
Is it a day game?
It is a 4 p.m. day game.
I think you guys should be able to crack 30 or 40 plus. I can't see why not. I remember I watched you guys last year there against the Tigers, and you were coasting for a while. We saw before, obviously, fading late in that heat. Remember, it was a hot day.
It was a very, very hot day.
Belm it's a good track. It's a good attacking track.
I can't wait. Zatar has just put up, give us $2.99 on a super chat to one up Brian. Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate super chats. It's just one of those things that we can't really thank you guys enough. And actually, while we're on that, I just want to quickly mention that since we've hit 1,000 subscribers, we do have the option for to put out so that you guys can join us as members. Last week we had Morris, we had Jamie and Brad join us as members, and we sort of have the option now for you to join us as a member. And practically what it is, it's about $7 a month to help us just run the podcast. Look, we probably won't ever make any profit off this, but it does cost a lot of money to run, and becoming a member is about the cost of a coffee a month. It helps us just pay for all the expenses of the studio, expenses of all the gear, just time to get everything done. So we really, really appreciate if you become a member. The link is there. I've pinned it in the chat. So you just click on that link and you can join as a member. It's $6.99 a month. Honestly, as I say, this is not about making money for us. It's just about covering the costs, and it's quite expensive to run a podcast. So if you do like our content, please consider joining as a member. If not, we still love you. We still love having you. And thank you so much for all your support.
Just with those that membership.
And if you guys can, sorry guys, I'm just going to quickly interrupt there. Please feel free to share the podcast on your own social media platforms, just to help us get the word out a little bit more, and build a strong base for the platform or for the podcast. Thanks, guys.
Well said, Chili Billy, our producer. Zatar is saying, just supporting the stream, day one subscriber, been here for Red's weight loss journey. Mate, Zatar is an OG, he's been there since day one. Really, really appreciate all your support. Amina Adari's asking, what's a super chat? A super chat is just you sort of support the live stream by giving a couple of dollars, and your message gets blown up and amplified and things like that. So that's what a super chat is. What were you going to say?
Just on that, with that membership fee, if you do, what we've been doing is we got some shorts or videos in the pipeline that you will see coming out over the weeks. Some different content. If there's any content or any shorts or any videos or topics you like us see us to do, please suggest them. Feel free to shoot us a message or a comment in the chat, and that more than happy to have a look. And
we want all your feedback. And with becoming a member, one of the things that we also do is when we get guests on, and we've got people like Terry Lamb, we've got heaps of people coming on in the next few weeks. What we'll do is we'll start a members only chat, and members will be able to actually send one or two questions in that we will ask. We'll ask our guests directly based off your name.
Are you going to give Michael and John a shout out?
I was just getting to that. I just want to see if you had anything to say. But Michael P has just joined, as has John Saad. We really, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for all the support. Like, I'm blown away. Every time, this happens, I'm just so blown away. Brian Dibbs asked, how about merch? Look, merch is coming. It takes time. It takes effort to build merch.
I actually got something in the pipeline for the summer coming up. So there will be an announcement. Red's heard me ramble on about it off air. So, I've got something in the pipeline. I'll hopefully mention it in the next few weeks.
We got heaps of stuff coming up in the pipeline. Now, what I just want to get back to talking.
Johnny. You know what, John? Been around Dogs fans my whole life. I love the rivalry.
So John Saad saying that Dib is a closet Dogs fan, just waiting for them to come good before he comes out.
No, I'll tell you what, John. I've been around Dogs fans my whole life. I absolutely enjoy the rivalry that the Dogs have. It's with the Dragons. I just wish the Dragons were going just as good, because it is actually, when both sides are going real good,
it's a mad rivalry.
It's actually a bitter rivalry between both sides. Because unfortunately, about the last 10 years, we've both been at the bottom of the barrel. We've pretty much just hugged, put our hands around each other, felt sorry for each other. And now the Dogs are doing well. Like, the Dragons are nowhere. Like, it's just,
no, you guys aren't too far behind, man.
But I love for the Dragons to go good, because, man, there's no better rivalry for me in Sydney than between the Dogs and the Dragons. And, I love seeing it's good, I get to delve deep into the Dogs,
Belly of the
squad,
beast.
fans. You are the most passionate fans, I feel. Although Dragons fans think they are, no, they're probably the whiniest fans because they're still living off the past, which is the truth. There's one thing I like to see the Dogs embrace more is their club history and their past champions. Like you guys, I've realised I've delved into it. There's an absolute lot of stars there. Like even going back 10, 15 years, I feel like they're still underappreciated. Like you guys have had absolute players at the club in the last 20, 30 years that I wish I had at St. George. Like I would just ramble off on them. And once upon a time, you guys had Willie Mason, Mark O'Meara,
And
Sonny Bill Williams.
And we will be doing.
We go on and on and on and
we
on.
actually will be doing a Dogs Legends series in shorts. Look out for that. That'll be on YouTube, Insta, TikTok. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a specific Bulldogs legend, going all the way back to the 70s and the 80s, talking about how they built the DNA of the Bulldogs. And that'll be coming very, very soon. We have some really, really cool, exciting things coming up. So, as I say, join up as a member. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure that you share the podcast with your friends because honestly, we have a lot of content coming up. And you know what? The Bulldogs are becoming, are getting successful, and we just want to ride the wave because it's just a lot of fun and sort of why we started it. And you know what? When we started it in 2023, the Dogs weren't doing well. There was no real light at the end of the tunnel, but we just thought, you know what? We love footy. I love the Bulldogs. Let's just talk and see where we go. But I want to talk very quickly about something that I've been thinking about, something I mentioned on the podcast before, and I actually want everyone sort of watching, tell me what you think about this, and this is the way I think Seraldo has broken down the season, right? I think he's broken it down in phases, and this is why I feel like Sexton didn't get a shot until about round 12, round 13. So what I think he did is this. He said, first, he broke it up into phases. First phase was about attitude and defense. Right? First 8 to 10 rounds was all about building attitude and defense. And we saw that. We really focused on defense. We didn't focus too much on attack. It was all about getting defense right, getting attitude right. The second phase of the season, so I think you would say between maybe around, say, 10 to 18, 19, I felt it was just all about defense and consistency. Again, we didn't see too much flamboyant attack unless the opportunity showed itself. We didn't really go out there to attack hard, but we did go out there to defend, to be gritty, to earn our keep and win. And I feel like the last part of this season, even against the Cowboys, against the Broncos, Seraldo is now starting to implement phase 3 as we get into the finals, and that is attack. I feel like logically, that's how he's broken down the season to ensure that the Bulldogs are not the players aren't overwhelming themselves as they develop. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that the breakdown of the season and how the team has developed makes sense? Because I feel like that's the only way I can logically see how our attack is able to switch so quickly.
I'll be honest, how I saw it, I don't think Seraldo even knew how good they were going to go. I think he definitely chose the side to the strengths. He had an idea for how he wants the defence to be. At the start, the style they were playing probably suited best how they wanted to play with Hutchison. I think they've exceeded his expectations this year. I honestly think him and Phil Gould, for example, didn't expect the success to come this quick. Like if you think about it, it's about the success has come after a year and a half. They were probably projecting maybe 3 to 4 years. And as the season's gotten on and on, he was able to be more flexible, maybe, bring now our defense is really rock solid. I can chance my arm and go with Sexton with the attack.
Yeah.
Because Drew, although he's defending really well, we're somehow scraping the results.
We need better attack.
We can risk it. We're in a good position. And it's just worked well. Like some of those young guns in the reserves, and I know Finch watches the reserves a lot, like Big Boy, Hot Boy, and you had a few other guys. Like every week, Gerald Skelton, absolutely, he's sizzling in reserve grade.
He was player of the competition for 2 years.
And with Cam, I don't think he expected, but he's used it to his advantage. So he's got not one player out of form. So he's let them all just compete for the spots. And you know what? I know Max King is out for 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, he's back against the Warriors in round 25.
Yeah, and I know Josh has missed here and there. And Kickout missed a bit and Crichton's missed a bit. But other than that, good run of injuries. It's only come, one star player here or one star player there. But the replacements have absolutely been sensational. You know, like
It's absolutely next man up. I don't, like you know, it really starts to remind me of what the what the Panthers have done there. And I feel like people said, you know, it was Seraldo that built that defensive system for the Panthers, and I'm starting to sort of believe that. Look, I'm taking nothing away from Cleary, take nothing away from Ivan Cleary, that is, take nothing away from the Panthers. They are incredible. And I put up a tweet saying I think that they are one of the greatest institutions rugby league has ever seen, the Penrith Panthers, right? I think that they will go down as untouchable in history. I don't think any team will be able to get close to them and what they've been able to achieve over the last 3 to 4 years. They are remarkable.
they're looking more certain for 4 in a row. I mean, like
Every single week.
this is probably the most certain. Like, I've looked at it this year, especially the way they just laughed at the Dragons. Man, it was funny. We're leaving that game and their fans felt sorry for us.
Bro, can you imagine? Can you guys imagine?
It should have been 50 plus at half time.
Can you imagine a Dogs Panthers grand final this year? Look, I'm only dreaming. I'm not saying we're gonna get there. But you imagine a Dogs Panthers grand final?
It'd be an honour to lose by 40 points in the grand final.
It would
I'm
be.
only fucking with you.
Nah,
Sorry.
bro.
Sorry
it
about
would
the
be, bro. Imagine.
Hey, hang on a sec. Your defence did stifle them this year. So, you know what? You know, if the Dogs were to make the grand final this year, but if they were to win the grand final this year, that would be the most unlikeliest of sides to ever win a grand final.
It would be. Look,
It would.
be. I don't think we will, but just to dream. And look, Lakeside, Brian, I actually absolutely believe we are the dark horse. I don't think Manly is the dark horse. I don't think the Cowboys are the dark
not
horse.
Manly. Jeez.
I genuinely believe that the Bulldogs are the dark horse and will finish in the top 4.
I
The
reckon-
Sharks are finished.
I reckon if you guys were to play the Cowboys here, you'd beat them by 20 plus.
I reckon if we were to
I don't doubt it. I mean, I don't know how you guys still lost that game. Anyways,
look, we had
you're
Gerard
entitled.
Sutton. Bro, we had Gerard Sutton. We were never going to win with
You're
Gerard
entitled to
Sutton.
play a poor game once in a while. So, you know, and in saying that, a poor game, you guys should have still easily
Yeah,
won.
we should have won.
Easily.
Now, I want to talk about our halves. And one thing I realised was Sexton and Burton are starting to combine a little bit better. I feel like instead of them being exclusively left-right, they're starting to work together. So I saw Sexton spreading the ball a little bit left and then combining sort of first receiver, second receiver with Burton that I probably haven't seen as much from them this year. And that for me was really, really exciting. But the one thing that I saw that was really, really interesting to me, and I think this is what's been lacking in our attack, was that Sexton was the dominant half. It wasn't Burton that was the dominant half. It was Sexton that was the dominant half. And so when he called the ball, he was getting it. When he demanded from Mani to get the ball, he was getting the ball. And if you saw off the ball, I felt like Sexton was the one placing where he wanted attackers and defenders. And that for me shows that this guy is on his game, right? You look at the tries that he set up or the final passes that he threw, he was getting the ball to where it needed to get to. A lot of the times when we make breaks, it was him that was getting the ball out to the left or getting the ball to the spaces, and his passing was crisp, but he was the dominant half. And that freed up Burton. I found that Burton has been running the ball a lot more. Even against the Cowboys, Burton was running the ball a lot more. And there's a bit of a binary there happening where and Jamie Teaser has actually just mentioned that Burton's doing the long kicking and Sexton's doing the short kicking almost exclusively. And, you know, Sexton's short kicking game is honestly, at the moment, very, very potent. And if he continues to build that, I don't see why...
Everyone's forgetting Jason Taylor was a you know, he was a good halfback. He was a smart halfback.
He was a very smart halfback.
You know, when he was playing for Norths, a lot of people forget he had a good kicking game on him, whether it was long or short.
Yeah.
Very good kicking game. So very handy there. And then obviously, does field goal get involved at all? At all?
I can tell you
it doesn't
from the
come
cup,
down until, hey, no. What I mean was, does he not like just have off the cuff ideas just for Cam to consider?
Oh, no, look, of course they have the
Because
discussions.
the guy's one of the greatest minds in rugby league.
Look,
so.
of course they have the discussions, but every decision made,
Obviously by Cam.
Every plan is made by Cam and the coaching staff. Phil Gould is more an advisor because of experience, but every decision that's made comes from the coach and the coaching staff. Brian Dibbs mentioned Panthers have lost Kickout, Lenu, Coruscant, Crichton, Burton, Capewell, Mays, Salmon, etc. are still competing. Bro, I agree with you. As a Doggies fan, I feel like we are forever indebted to the Panthers. And I think the whole competition,
These were the only
whole
smart ones to
competition
sign them.
should
Or
be
a
indebted
chunk
to
of
the
them.
NRL. Not only
The
have they
Panthers, you mean?
the NRL should be indebted to the Panthers because they've given off two of their assistants. They've gone on to become successful coaches.
I reckon they should be salary capped. Not like probably give them $100,000 for each junior they produce
Bro,
after winning a grand final.
I agree with you. Now, I 100% think that they deserve some sort of reward for the hard work they've done.
100% or a 10% increase on the salary cap.
Yeah.
Create a dynasty.
They are, bro. Even without the NRL's help.
Let's say 12 Pete or something.
Oh, bro. Look, if I am rooting for the absolute 4P more than anything. If the Dogs don't win, I want the Panthers to. That's really what it comes down. The Warriors aren't going to make it. So if it's not the Dogs, it's got to be the Panthers. I don't want Storm to win.
There's a member in this chat who thinks his Storm are going to be the ones.
Bro, the Storm. But the only reason they beat the Eels is because the Eels are so shit. If it wasn't for that, I swear they would have got pumped. The Eels had like 50 tackles in their 20 and they couldn't score.
They are capable, Melbourne. That Bellamy and they've under some players.
No,
like
they're not. No.
And Anderson and
Anderson,
geez, their
fantastic.
forwards don't stop, man. Plus that Munster's back and they got Fa'alonga on the bench.
And look, there's someone else from the Brisbane game, Dogs vs Brisbane game. I have to mention that's absolutely Connor Tracy, bro. What a freak!
I think Finch said.
What a freak!
I think Finch was raving on that he was the buy of the year. Do you agree with that? Because his form's been sensational,
bro. He came. I'll tell you why this is so unbelievable, right? He came to the Dogs. He came to the Dogs as a utility. He wasn't even our first choice fullback. It was Blake Taff, and it was only some really, really miserable conditions, right? That got Connor Tracy into fullback, and really, he's taken it on his shoulders to become, the Dylan Edwards of the Bulldogs. He's averaging 25 touches, 230 meters a game. He sets up heaps of tries. So again, look, like just to tell you, his statistics against the Broncos, right? He 3 tries, 3 try assists, 185 run meters, 1 line break, 3 line break assists. This guy was everywhere. Connor Tracy was everywhere. Like, the only reason I would put Stephen Crichton above him as buy of the year is because Stephen Crichton has changed the culture of the club completely alongside Seraldo. That is the only reason I put him as buy of the season above Tracy. But other than that, like, you have Tracy and Curran. And no other team can say they've made as good a buy as either Tracy or Curran. But it's just, Crichton is just, his work ethic, everything about him is just unbelievable. It's remarkable. So, we have a couple of questions. Now, like, for example, first about Jarrell Skelton. Sean Dixon from our Facebook page has asked, should Skelton hold his first grade spot? And then for us, Firas Adari as well from our Facebook page asks, should the Dogs move Fox on to keep Skelton and Wilson? It's some tough questions. What are your thoughts, Dibbo?
You can't keep them all, man. Like, there's a salary cap there. There's young blood pushing through. There's some established stars there. Like Jarrell, I think he's going to stay for the same money. Somebody out there will come and offer him. It's not because he wants to leave, but say he's on 220, someone's going to come and offer him, for example, 350 or 370. He'd be silly to knock it back. You only get about a 10-year career in first grade, so.
Look, one thing I think we need to start grappling with as Doggies fans, if the team does start to become successful, we need to start sort of accepting that we won't be able to keep them all. You look at
it's all about roster management.
It is about roster management, and you're going to start seeing teams like potentially the Tigers, the Dragons, the Titans. Some of those teams that don't have the roster, they're going to look at our juniors who are absolutely killing it, and our juniors are killing it, and they're going to try and sign them on big money.
That's why
to get them onto their clubs.
That's why you can afford to lose players like Jarrell Skelton. You got your core players there, keep them for the next 2-3 years. You guys got, I think, the best, or one of the best, if not the best, one of the best 16s to 19-year-olds in the country. In
Absolutely.
2, 3, 4 years, all these guys will be 20, 21, 22, you know, for example. They'll be, out of them, you get about 5, 6 out of them that will be playing regular first grade. That's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, maintain a part of your roster again, and then some astute signings from elsewhere. So, you can't keep them all. I'd love to see Jarrell Skelton stay there. He's been absolute dynamite.
Yeah, I don't want to lose Skelton,
but I'm just saying now, if he ends up leaving, it's not because he wanted to. It's because somebody's realised his potential, and Canterbury's got a salary cap to manage. They also got to look at the talent they got coming through. And
but
somebody's
Skelton's
going to
still
offer
really
him.
young. Like that's the thing. Like
Somebody's going to offer him significantly more.
Honestly,
I'll be surprised if somebody does.
A couple more performances like that, and people and teams are going to snap him up. Like I know that Tigers fans are very much on the Skelton train, and they're calling. They're making comments.
Even the
about,
Roosters could take South. South seem to lack backs. They do. Besides Latrell, they seem to. I mean, they got Tane Milne in a sense. I love Tane's aggression. They got Isaac Thompson and Isaiah Tass. Like that's their centers and wing options. Like Jarrell Skelton would walk in that side.
Look, I don't know. Like they've got Fox's niece, not niece, Fox's nephew.
Yeah, I'm thinking, what is this guy smoking? You're talking about the Ferrari. What's his name? Tyson or no?
Isn't it Tyrone?
Tyrone something.
Yeah, I forgot what his name is, but
he played a lot towards the back end of last year. He's been
only
injured.
18, 19.
He's been injured this year.
Yeah, he's injured. And don't forget they've got Campbell Graham as well, who's also injured.
Yeah, all right, but I still think Jarrell Skelton would snag a spot there, a starting spot too.
Look, I'm not. I think
he'd be sensational for Wayne.
Look, I think he'd be sensational for Benji. I'll be honest with you.
I reckon he's better off at Wayne.
Look,
I'd play for Wayne. I wouldn't play for
look,
Benji.
I'm with you, but I think he would do wonders for
Shout out to Maurice Collins.
Morris, thank you for all your support, bro. Very quickly, Gerard Sutton is senior match official on Sunday. Should we be worried? Yeah.
All right. Probably release Brian and Finch to go after him, or
I actually think that this is one of those games where we will take the result completely out of the referee's hands. It's going to be in Belmore. There's going to be 17,000, 18,000 rabid Bulldogs fans. I just don't think that the referee is going to make that much of a difference. I also think that we will have the hometown advantage. That's what I know how much Gerard Sutton hates us, but don't forget the Bulldogs are also preparing a dossier to the NRL on how Gerard Sutton has been dicking us at every single turn, and I think that
they're allowed to,
and I think they'll make that known to him quite adamantly this week. So plus being at Belmore and all these things, I don't know. I don't think we have too much to worry about in my opinion. But really, really shout out to Maurice. Maurice, really appreciate your support, bro. You are an absolute legend. I can't thank you enough.
I just want to talk somebody who Jamie Teasdale's mentioned about Curran.
Yeah.
Last year he elevated the Warriors, I thought, and took them into the finals.
Yeah.
He's doing likewise for the Dogs this year.
He's a freak. He's an absolute freak.
I know Connor Tracy.
Josh, if you see this, Josh Curran, please come onto the podcast. I know we really want to talk to you on the podcast.
I know Connor Tracy's getting a lot of the accolades at the moment, but I think overall, for me, your best signing this year, is Josh Curran
over Crichton.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
His impact. I'll tell you what, Crichton's there for a role. But just what Josh Curran's done in the forwards, he's the sticker flex or the glue.
I'm with you.
He's your lock. He's your utility.
Yeah,
he's your second row. He's your prop. He can slot in the centers. He can slot in at hooker. He can probably even play 5'8" or fullback.
Bro, I need to make this very, very, very known. I love Josh Curran. I'm not talking anything bad about Josh. Curran is an absolute freak.
For me, he's your signing of the year.
I just
Mr. Consistent.
I just can't go past what Stephen Crichton has brought. I'm telling you, there are a lot of games, if Crichton wasn't in our team or wasn't our captain, we would lose on the very virtue that we were used to losing.
Look, I think even Stephen Crichton will turn around and say, no, I'm not the signer of the year. He's a pretty humble person. His role there is to be the leader, but knowing Stephen Crichton, he would absolutely give all the credit to his teammates.
Which is why he is signing of the season, because he doesn't, he is, he's humble.
His leadership's been great, but in terms of what's happened in terms of impact on the field and what he's done and all that, I think Curran's just, in the forwards. He's an X factor. Like, he even scores, he tries that. You put kicks through and expect your backs to chase them.
Bro, he's done it 3 times this year.
The guy's chasing them down instead.
Bro, he's not even that big, and he's just like for example, right? up against the Broncos, you'd think Payne Haas, Jensen,
He's got
Paddy
a-
Carrigan, Jordan Ricky, they'd all run over him.
He's got a repertoire to his game. He's got an offload as well. He's got a ball out the back.
He's killed it, man.
He's got a bit of footwork. He's underrated forward.
Brian Dibb is saying, I wish we got... Oh, very quickly, Brad Cambridge is saying Ashley Klein is referee for the Bulldogs against the Raiders.
So they got it wrong.
Yeah, can we just get that?
Ashley Klein's...
I don't mind. Look,
You don't mind? I think he's one of the worst refs.
Let me quickly double check.
I think he's one of the worst refs in the game.
In any case, I want to make a quick comment to Brian Dibb. He's saying that I wish we got Adam Fanua-Blake. Actually, one thing I can tell you is that the Bulldogs didn't want to sign Adam Fanua-Blake for a couple of reasons. And I actually think they made the right decision. No disrespect to Adam Fanua-Blake, but I'm happy that we sort of didn't get him. And shout out to everybody that's on the line. Thank you so much. We've got 51 people watching. This is the most I think we've ever had concurrently. I really, really appreciate it. If you're in the chat right now, just give this video a quick like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe very, very quickly. Because what it will do is it will help us bump up in the algorithm, get us a few more views, and help us continue to deliver content. So if you are there, please just quickly give us a like. It will only take you 1 second. Just give this video a like.
Well said, Hank. I like what Hank said about Critter there. Obviously, he's brought the winning mentality, the hard work mentality. And
I think it makes a big difference.
He's changed the culture there. He's helped change the culture. It's good.
Look, I think he's great. Thank you guys for smashing the like button. I really, really appreciate it. Now, the other thing that Jamie Teasdale has mentioned is Preston running through Carrigan. He did that twice, and twice we got tries from it.
How good was that?
For Carrigan to miss tackles on the second row. No, shit talk to Carrigan. He's a freak.
He's too busy looking to walk the catwalk.
No.
He's just there for the catwalk.
Carrigan was the only one I felt that really made an effort.
It's just another model on the catwalk.
Nah, he's a good player.
He's been exposed. Well done. I'm actually proud that Preston ran over him.
He ran over him twice.
Exposed him as a fraud.
And you know what?
Cut that ponytail.
Some of those passes from Sexton to get Preston in the right position. Oh, that was so yummy. That was so good. It was just fat. I can't, I've rewatched the highlights like 10 times writing this script, and I can talk about this game. We've been talking about it for almost an hour, and I can keep talking about it. Dom, my passion is infectious. Thank you so much. That's what I hope to bring. I love love the club, love the team, love footy. Honestly, it's just, bro, like, it's just one of those things that, you enjoy. And, quickly, we've got 53 people in the chat. I'm beaming. I do not believe how busy and how...
I don't think this guy slept since Saturday after that win. Honestly, the way he's going on. He's on a sugar high, maybe.
Yeah, Brian Dibb, red. I thought Hutchinson was better than Sex. Bro, Brian, I'm about to ban you, bro. Let me tell you, I'm about to ban you. Bro, I never said Hutchinson was better than Sex. I said I understood Serrato's decision making. Why am I getting baited by Brian? I love you, bro. You're a good guy. I like it.
RL7809. How do we think they'll go against the Raiders? Well, as form suggests, and it's a home game, and there'll be about, 19,000 passionate Bulldogs fans.
Absolutely sold out to the brim.
I think you guys are going to put on a clinic, to be honest. Confidence is sky
13
high.
plus, easily.
Critters, just give it a figure. Don't say 30 plus.
No, not 30 plus.
I'm going to say you guys are going to beat them maybe, again, 46-10.
Yeah, we might I think 40 will be on.
46-10. It's going to be a day out. I mean, the boys...
It's going to be a party in Belmore. It's going to be a party in Belmore. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a party in Belmore.
The boys have shown they're not getting ahead of themselves. They don't get cocky. Geez, they're so level-headed this year. Like, they can smell the finals, but they go out there and just do the job. So, yeah, got nothing else to add, really. I mean, I think it's going to be 30 plus.
Yeah, look, I hope that's the case, but the Raiders with Fogarty back is a bit of a...
Fogarty's a good player.
A weird one, yeah.
I think you guys are just out enthuse them, to be honest.
I think we out enthuse a lot of the teams we've been playing.
You have.
Very quickly, 54 people live. Just want to quickly just give you a quick message. We have the pinned link in the chat there. That takes you to our membership page where you can become a member. What it does is it helps us continue to fund this podcast. We do not make any money off this. I don't think we ever will. And one thing I can guarantee you is we will never, ever have gambling ads or sign up to a gambling page or have any of that gambling bullshit on this podcast. All we're asking is for, $6.99 a month. The price of a coffee just helps us continue to fund the podcast, just so that we can sort of cover some of the costs. Honestly, as I say, we won't make any money. It gives you perks. You have the Bulldogs logo next to your name. It'll, you can ask questions to all our members. So before we have our guests come on, we'll give you guys a chat where you can send in your questions, but that's only if you're a member. So please, if you can, I know the cost of living is high, but if you can give us that $6.99 a month just to help with paying for everything, that'd be really, really great. If not, we still love you. We love all your support. Give this video a thumbs up.
Yeah, Brian, I've had to give up my tickets to the Belmore game to sell out to actual real Bulldogs fans, unfortunately. Anyways, I'll watch from home. I mean, tickets were limited, so yeah.
What do you mean, Debo? You are a real Bulldogs fan.
He's not a...
Well, I had to give up my ticket to the cameraman if anyone wants to know who it is.
Brian, I don't drink coffee ever, so I'm safe. Look, bro, it's the cost of... I don't know, whatever, bro. Do you, bro. Now, I want to talk quickly about some news that's been happening. So apparently the Bulldogs are in the box seat to sign Stefano Utoikamanu to the Bulldogs next year. What are your thoughts on that?
Skeptical. I'll tell you why. I don't think he's worth the money. And I think a lot of Dogs fans will agree. I think a lot of Dogs fans will agree he's probably not worth more than 600 or $500,000. He's not playing near close to the elite. Maybe Serrado will change him, but at the same time, I don't think he plays to the style the Bulldogs play. Like, is he gonna be defensively that good? They seem to be working well with more Max King type forwards. Max King's pretty fast for a forward, or he's pretty agile for a forward. I mean, Stefano's more of a power forward, but does he really defend as well? Like, is he going to suit the style, or has Cam seen something we haven't seen? For example, is he really commanding 800,000 plus? Is that true? No. Because honestly, I look at him and I think you can pay 600, but I'd be more comfortable paying 450 to $500,000. From what I've seen, I know he's playing in a poor Tigers side, but that's where I thought he'd get more minutes and his stats will be a lot better. But that's just my opinion anyway. I mean, what do you guys all think? Brian, Finch, Hank, Jamie, what are your thoughts, lads?
Look, my thought is this. I don't think we've seen what Stefano can do as a player. I think that he's been hamstrung at the Tigers. I'm really sorry to all Tigers fans out there. I don't mean to be rude to you guys or anything like that.
Look at the comments, like Mothman and Greg Hayward and Brian and I think Hank and a lot of them. No one's over the top about him. Like, they're not.
I'm with you, but you know what I would say. Honestly, you know what I would respond with. It's simple.
It will improve, Finch.
Look, Gus and Serraldo, right?
It definitely will improve.
To us, Gus and Serraldo have proven to us that they can make the right decisions. I'm not going to start doubting them now.
Basically worth 900 or 800.
We're not paying him 800. We're not even paying him 700.
Yeah, if he's paying him 600, I'll take it.
Believe me, he is not on 750. The Bulldogs will only pay for him what they think he's
I'm surprised. It's not their model to go pay overs. He's played, 1 or 2 State of Origins?
Yeah, and for 40 minutes. But let me tell you, I'll tell you something. His preference is to go to Melbourne because Melbourne were willing to offer him the 800. He can't go to Melbourne because his wife doesn't want to leave Sydney. They've just had a baby. She's got that support network of her family around her. I don't think he wants to go to Melbourne either, even though he knows he will get more money from Melbourne than he will from the Bulldogs. What the Bulldogs will do, though, is they will give him incentives. They will give him bonuses. If he makes Origin, he'll make more money. If the Dogs make the finals, he'll make more money. If he hits a certain average meters per game, tackles per game, less missed tackles per game, there will be bonuses in there for him. So while I sort of agree that it may be a little bit of an overkill, I think that if you think about what our team's going to look like next year in the props department, and if we can continue to get our attack right, you think about a starting prop rotation of Max King, Stefano Utoikamanu, Tom Amone, Sam Hughes, then we'll still have
You got
Curtis
size now.
Morin. We've got size. And don't forget, we've also signed Stili Tupanua.
I like
right?
to see more from Sam Hughes.
Look,
He was one of your best in the first half of the season. He's just,
yeah.
I don't know why he's not getting as much game time, but I know he's better than that.
And I think, look, it's all about, Seraldo ensuring that the young players are not being overwhelmed. And, I think he's done well. And I think Hughes knows that coming into the finals, he's going to have to lift. Why he only used him 25? Look, I don't want to doubt Seraldo because I think he's done a good job. Now, want to quickly mention, Rob Ramsey asks, with the arrival of Amon, Tupanua, and possibly Utoikamanu, do they slip straight into the best 17? Who makes way for them out of Hayward, Hughes, Mann, Morin, Salmon? I'll be honest with you. I think Salmon and Morin make way for them.
That's not, you know what? It's not a bad headache to have, and it's not a troubling one because a lot of those players you guys have signed on 2-year deals. So, like, even if they're languishing on the fringes next year, I'm sure there's, it's not going to be a hard decision whether to offload them or keep them. That is some very smart signings. Those 2-year deals.
And look, a lot of the people that are saying, he's Stefano's bailing on the Tigers. I'll give you an interesting stat. He's been at the Tigers for 4 years and he's played 70 games. Take a guess how many he's won. In 70 games, guess how many he's won.
9.
I want you guys to guess how many he's won. He's won 15. 15. In 70.
He's been there for 4 years.
He's won 15 games in 4 years.
He's served his contract. How is he bailing? He's moving on to a new club. What, he's not allowed to?
Some
of these small men fans, they think they own the players.
Yeah,
seriously. He's done 4 years. He saw out his contract. If you had a better offer to go elsewhere, or you're looking for a new employment, better pay in that and better conditions, I'm sure you'd take it.
Yeah,
but why can't the player take it?
I'm with you, and I think that
it's just hypocrisy at its finest to say he's bailing.
And I think that win by the Bulldogs against the Broncos was sort of the straw that will break the camel's back, because I think he will see that performance and say, I want to be a part of that next year. I have no doubt.
I think Sutton needs to go.
Yeah, Sutton will go. I think
he's a nice fella, but he's hardly played. Like he should. I think he's going to be surplus to requirements.
I mean, then Bill S mentions where the hell is Saluka Fafita? He's also another prop that we've got, but he'll be on.
It's good to have depth.
Yeah, it'll be great for depth, but he'll be on very minimal money. He'll be on probably on absolute base contract, and
probably be on about 200, 220.
That
feels like base.
I don't think that.
What is base? 150,
130.
Yeah, all right.
I think
much
it'll be
above base.
Yeah.
What's 90K extra these days?
And then, like, for example, Tom Amona, I saw some people on Twitter saying, is he going to be starting in first grade? He'll be starting New South Wales Cup. I can tell you right now, Tom Amona did not sign with the Bulldogs to play New South Wales Cup. He'll be in the team.
I reckon he'll bring a lot of energy. I'm watching him play in the Super League.
He's really good.
I think once he's got more professional setup with the Dogs, I think he'll be performing the same way he's doing over there with Lee. So
yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I think he'll be fantastic, and he's been prop of the year there now for a while. Firas Adadi saying Raiders game won't be a shellacking. Still have them revved up and primed. Look, I don't disagree with you, but I think that when the Raiders come up against a good defensive team, a team that's on song, they will struggle. That's the one thing I feel that they will do. And if you look at the way the Bulldogs have been playing and how they have been able to stop even better attacking teams than the Raiders, I think the Bulldogs will out-muscle and out-grit the Raiders, especially at Belmore. We're in for a very, very special game.
You know what's funny? This whole podcast today feels like a whole confession session. When they go to the church and either the priest sits on or the priest sits on one side or on the curtain, because everyone's just putting in their comments. I doubted Connor Tracy, or I doubted Serraldo, I doubted Sexton, or I doubted so and so. And they're just all owning up. I didn't doubt anyone. I don't care what anyone thinks, but I actually was blowing Gould's trumpet from the get-go when he signed with the club. So I feel vindicated where the Dogs are going now. So yeah, take that, boys. Maurice Collins has said Raiders will be coming to win, confident but wary. Look, you can be confident but wary. People said that we were going up to Suncorp to get smashed, and we did the smashing. If anything, I am very, very confident that we no longer have to worry about hoodoos and voodoos and all this crap about
them being good or whatever. Look, the last time they beat us, they got 2 gift tries, literally gift tries. And even with our shit performance, we still would have won. So for me, I honestly think that the Raiders just aren't going to know what hit them. They're coming into our home, right? They're going to be 17,000, 18,000 strong crowd of absolutely rabid Bulldogs fans who are high off the win of the Broncos. Trust me, with Critter back, with Fox back, with the newfound confidence, the Raiders are not going to have a chance. And I say that because you look at their defense, when they get put under pressure, their defense does buckle. Right? Look, they beat a really poor Rabbitohs team. Let's be honest. The Rabbitohs team was pretty bad.
I tipped the Raiders to win that day, and they did better than I expected, but yeah.
Look, I tipped them to win as well, but I still think that they won't. Look, I think we need to start looking at our team as a top 4 team. It's like the Raiders, who are 9th, 10th, and that's where they should be, coming up a top 4 team like the Bulldogs. That's the way I looked at it.
He's out for revenge anyway. So
we are going to be out for revenge.
He's more motivated to win this game than the last game you guys played him. So this is revenge and redemption, as we should call it.
Yeah, and Firas is saying, more tickets will be released tomorrow or Thursday. Is this confirmed? No, it's not.
Unless you want to sit on that 2-story house down the southern end and watch.
It's completely sold out, bro. Unless you want to sit on the train tracks.
Yeah, unless you want to sit on the balcony of that 2-story house that overlooks the back fence.
Completely sold out. Completely sold out, guys. And
if also wants to know what is Dibbo blowing exactly.
Gould's trumpet. Anyways.
Yeah. No. RL 7809. Belmore is sold out.
Brad, save that $7. You can put it towards the podcast.
Yeah,
save that $7, Brad. Honestly, I'm begging you to save that $7. Put it on the podcast instead. $7. I think that's too short.
Yeah,
I think it's more like $501. That's probably what it should be if there was ever such odds.
Matthew Fail, welcome to the podcast. If you have joined us new, or if you haven't joined us before, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our podcast, share it to everybody.
Matthew, you know what's funny? It was actually about 10 minutes ago because everyone was talking about Sexton and Hutchison and Birdo and other halves you guys got. What came across my mind was actually Mitchell Woods. So in a couple of years, I do expect him to excel and be a regular first grader. So it's a good spot to be in.
Very good spot.
Especially if you guys are going to play regular finals and this kid comes in. It's like how Cleary came in at Penrith and look at him now. So you guys could find yourselves in the same situation.
Look, he's 17 years old. He's still doing his HSC.
Yeah, in a couple of years.
I didn't say 2 to 3 years at least before he's ready for first grade. In the meantime, we have a very good performing 7 as Sexton. Very quickly, Bill Sam is saying Raiders have the wood on us. Bro, I don't think it matters at all. We were a completely different team the last 5 or 6 years. We are not that team. We are not that team. Even last year, that is not us. Whatever voodoo any team has over us, it just... Look, we hadn't won at Suncorp against the Broncos since 2015. We went up there and we blew that away. We absolutely blew that away. And I have every reason to believe that we are going to go to Belmore and absolutely tear the Raiders apart. We are playing with confidence. We're going to be defending like our lives depend on it. We've got our captain Courageous back. We have our speedster in Fox back. Sexton's playing. I just don't think there's anything to suggest from this year that the Raiders will have it on us. I don't think at all.
Can I ask? Good question. Like, if it's a guaranteed, is it gambling?
There's nothing guaranteed, bro. There's nothing
especially
guaranteed.
The Dragons in Melbourne.
Nah, there's nothing guaranteed. So very quickly, I want to talk about some questions. So Moot FM's asked on Twitter, how different would the NRL be if Canterbury merged with Western Suburbs and Parramatta merged with Balmain? Both clubs would be far stronger, undoubtedly. Look, I'm not even going to entertain that. Dogs will never ever merge with anyone.
So I think it would have been a bad marriage, Dogs and West.
Yeah. West's already having problems.
Balmain was probably more viable, I reckon.
No,
I reckon that would be good.
I think Parramatta...
I think Balmain should have merged with Para, not West, anyway. I
think Parramatta is a big enough club not to need to be merged, and the Wests have already merged, so...
Yeah, they are both big.
Yeah, it's big enough. Channel E asks a really good question, also from Twitter. Do we have the discipline to compete with the best in the competition when it comes to the finals? Ball control, unnecessary penalties, sin bin offences, etc. Yes. I think that we do have the discipline and I think we do have the capability. And the only reason I'm so confident is because we can defend our penalties, we can defend our sin bins. We can miss 60 tackles a game and still score 40 points. I just don't think that these statistics mean anything. I think that the Bulldogs have something special this year, and I think we have enough to go with the best. Do I think we can beat the Panthers or the Storm in a grand final? I would say no. That's me being really honest. I don't know if we get to a grand final, if we can beat the Panthers or the Storm. Do I think we can beat the Roosters? Absolutely. I think we can beat the Roosters. I don't think we can beat the Storm or the Panthers in a grand final. That's my genuine opinion. And that's only because they have Cleary at 7 and Luai at 6 and Hughes at 7 and Munster at 6 respectively. And they are incredible players. You have to give them their due credit, is that they are excellent at what they do. And they're the only ones that I think can beat us. Do I think that the Roosters can beat us in grand final? I honestly think we can beat them. And we've shown that we can outplay them. But that's sort of my opinion. What's your thoughts on that?
I reckon back your team. I mean, they've absolutely proved us wrong the whole year. It is absolutely unfair to doubt them. They're showing defence and enthusiasm. I haven't seen us from a side that have just come from the bottom of the rung to the top in a while. And honestly, I mean, the Warriors did it last year, but literally everything was going their way. They had everyone on the bandwagon. The Dogs still don't have everything going their way. And the only ones that have got them back on the bandwagon is their own fans. Like, they're getting no love from the other fans. So, honestly, for the first time in a while, this is such a remarkable turnaround. Like,
it's incredible. No,
back your team. Honestly, you guys have performed strongly against the top sides, had a few narrow losses against the top sides. Why can't you beat them?
Look, I'm not saying we can't. I just think that
I saw Cleary and Luai on the weekend with Isaiah.
Their experience would just be too good.
They are sensational, but I mean, Canterbury's fighting for a top 4 spot because not by fluke. They've had one of the hardest draws this year, but they're there because they've deserved it. They've worked for it. They've performed for it. And you can beat Melbourne.
All right, here's a question for you. Are we going to make the top 4? Can you put a poll up, Billy? Just to say, are the Bulldogs going to make the top 4?
All right. My top 4 lockings at the moment will be Melbourne. I think he's can. Melbourne and Penrith are definitely lock-ins. Cronulla and Roosters are the other 2 sides in the top 4 at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think he's will overtake Cronulla.
I did my ladder predictor.
I think he's will overtake Cronulla. I think they got exposed, especially what really hurt him when Hines had that poor game in Origin, and then obviously he's been injured. But I think
he's not going to solve their defensive issues.
No, it's not that. I think sides have worked them out, and the Sharks aren't playing with the confidence that they were playing halfway through the year. It feels like they won't be able to regain it. Whether he can supplant the Roosters in 3rd spot?
No, I don't think we do. I think
there's just, how many points are they ahead of? He's 2?
4. No, you're right, actually. It is 2.
If it's 2, he's a chance as long as you just keep winning. But I think I think you guys will hit 4th. And you know what? That's a deserved spot. That's a good reward for the fans such as yourself and Brian that have stuck by him since the start of the year. And, all those long-suffering Dogs fans, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
It's a great feeling.
It's good to be back in the finals. And obviously you want to be winning in the finals. And I'm sure, no matter how far the Dogs go this year, whether they go 4 short or go the whole way, I think the fans will be very pleased with this season. And next year will be even more exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I just got a feeling, if they keep these winning ways up, they might not be able to play at Belmore for a very long time.
Oh, look.
Because it's cruel to then deny 15 to 20,000 fans the chance to attend the game. When the world of corporate and hospitality and all that, plus, you don't want to be sacrificing extra 15,000 to 20,000 tickets. That's probably about another $300,000 plus revenue to the club.
It is.
I know Canterbury's a well-off club, but it's suicide to not take the extra revenue.
I'm with you 100%. And look, with decent enough seats at
I just
Accor,
wish you
the
guys,
game's good.
I just wish they built you a CommBank Stadium. You could, instead of giving it to Para, they should give it to you guys.
Look, I'm with you.
They shouldn't give Para a new stadium for another 60 years. I ain't kidding. They've had
But
two.
that CommBank Stadium is gorgeous. Let me tell you.
Para's
it's a
had two new
beautiful
stadiums in less than 40 years. What's Canterbury and other sides had in 70, 80 years? Nothing.
Hey, Mark Jessop, welcome. I'm so glad you're able to make it, man. Welcome to the chat.
I'm going to let you guys know I got Canterbury making the top 4 now, so I'm going to click yes on that. If you guys got that poll up, give it a vote. And I'm also going to find out who didn't tip the Dogs by 13 plus. So I hope I can find out who didn't tip them.
Look, Sharks run is very, very easy, as Izzy has mentioned. Dogs of War says that Sharks have the flat track bully run to boost their confidence. I honestly don't think that even against easy teams, they're going to win the next 6 games. I think that they're going to struggle quite a bit.
I as much as I hate to admit it, I got Canterbury winning their next 2 games. The hate part is the one, not the Canberra, the one Dragons. At Cogra. So yeah. I hope he's all come down there.
It'll be a great game.
No, it'll be a lot of spite, but I think Canterbury's just going to be too good, and that's in all fairness. With the way they're playing in that, Dragons will not be able to match it with them. Maybe for the first 10, 15, but that's about it. Canterbury are just not. They didn't get complacent, if you know what I mean. Basically, who's giving me some balloons there in the background? Anyway,
what we guys have, please be sure to like the video.
That's 4 points in the next 2 weeks, this week and next week. And in my opinion, that should take you in the top 4. I think Cronulla should slip up in one of those 2 weeks.
We got the Dolphins after that in Bundaberg. We perform okay in Bundaberg.
Yep.
And we got some decent support up there. So do I reckon it will be? I think the Dolphins are fading. Actually, we'll get into that very quickly. But, so make sure you vote into that poll to see if you think the Bulldogs will end up in the top 4 or not. Last question.
Can I, before you go, Finch has made a comment, and I've stood this by for a long time. The Dogs should still try and revisit the Oasis Centre at Liverpool. Take that territory off the West Tigers. A lot of the people that live in the Liverpool area are not Tigers fans. There's a large chunk that are actually Canterbury fans, and I'll just point out another thing. With the Dragons, a large part of their members base, a largest chunk comes from the Liverpool area. But there's more Canterbury fans there. It is a gold mine. They've got to revisit and increase their territory and try to take. You guys got Moorebank Rams on your books. And then I think there's a new Chipping Northern Kangaroos are coming back into the comp next year for junior base. And that's predominantly the Liverpool area. Yeah. I think you guys should go there and try to seize that territory. Good shout, Finch. And honestly,
it's a great point.
It's not the first time I've said this about taking the Liverpool area. I said on last year's podcast, take it.
And Bill Sam has said Canterbury Bankstown is one of the largest LGAs in the country, and for some reason we have no premier stadium.
Take Liverpool.
Why? I'll tell you why. It's because our seat is a safe seat for Labor, and that's what it's always going to be. And so Labor doesn't see the need to step up its game for us. Simple as that. I wish it was any different, but a safe seat means that nothing new happens. Maybe it is time for us to start making some noise. But when we interviewed Adam Drucey, the chairman of the Bulldogs, there simply just isn't money in the budget.
Man, Liverpool is an absolute gold mine. Like, there's a lot of development going out there. Go Canterbury, take it. You know what? West Tigers don't deserve it. They're squandering it. I'm telling you, they are squandering it. I would go in there and be ruthless and take it.
Look, it's a bigger discussion than this podcast.
That Whitlam Centre area is massive.
Would you like us to do maybe a feature video on Liverpool as
bloody oath?
We could do that sometimes. What do you think?
Bloody oath.
Izzy, that was fake news. There is no plans to rebuild Belmore Sports Ground at all. We did get funding from the government though to build the Centre of Excellence, which we will be breaking ground, which the Bulldogs will be breaking ground on very soon, and that's going to be great. Maybe down the track there'll be time for us to rebuild Belmore. I would love that. Imagine having a 25,000 seat rectangle stadium in the heart of Belmore, mate. It would be a fortress of all fortresses.
It'd be a dream, but I think Belmore should be your spiritual home, your centre of excellence, plus administrative headquarters.
Yeah.
But build that 30,000 seater in the heart of Liverpool where the Whitlam Centre is. It is massive lands. You can have an aquatic centre there as well. And on top of that, you take the opportunity to seize the juniors there, gain more fans, bigger membership base, and become a financial powerhouse.
Bill Sabb said Liverpool is junky. I disagree. I don't think Liverpool is junky
we're not living in the 80s or 90s anymore. It's come a long way.
It's amazing.
Matter of fact, I mean, they're probably, there used to be a lot of houses around there and that, but, Australia's advanced as a society. Like, we're living off stereotypes and just living backwards. But I work out at Preston's, and I can tell you it's far from that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of well-off people out there, good people, hardworking, honest citizens out there. So, good place.
Now, this Bulldogs chat has been amazing, but I do want to give a quick rest of the round review. We just want to talk about the rest of round 21. We'd love for you guys to also get
involved, gents.
Yeah, please. We love rugby league altogether, not just the Bulldogs and the Dragons, but we would love to have you guys get involved with the discussion around the rest of the league. So quickly, Eagles vs Storm. Eagles had many opportunities with no results.
I was more interested in eating the food. That's how Para was playing. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, look, Melbourne didn't get out of second or third game.
They were well below their best.
Melbourne didn't need to get out of there, play their best. They didn't. Munster's back. He had a good little run around there. Safa Solomon, I thought he's looking sharpest I've seen him the whole year.
But he's trying too hard. I still feel like...
No, it was good he got through a lot of defence there. I think he needed it. You know what? He was actually... they're saying he's fat and all that, but I saw him in the flesh. I think he's slimmed out a bit. I think he's looking good.
Just quickly, Matthew Fowle saying, I'm going to the game here in New Zealand against the Warriors. I'll make sure to start Doggy's chance. Bro, if you could take some footage of the game and send it to us, we could put it up on our YouTube. That would be great, because I think
that'd be awesome,
Matt. Would be absolutely amazing. I believe the game is sold out as well.
It's going to be yes, it is. It's like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and it's already sold out. So, Matthew, hit us up on our email podcast at thekennel.net.au, and I'd love for you to be able to send us some content that you can send to us, and we can put it up on our YouTube. We'll give you full credit for all the content that you send us. So that'd be great, and it'd be really, really exciting. Back to the Melbourne Storm and Parramatta Eagles. I think they've got a good one in Jason Riles, though. I think he's making some tough decisions. He's already told Barrett, you're not welcome anymore. And I think that's unfortunately the right move for the Eels. I think that Barrett is...
I don't know how Riles is going to go as a coach, so...
I reckon he's going to kill it.
I can't say he's going to kill it. It's just jumping the gun.
But I'm telling you, he's going to kill it. I reckon Jason Riles is going to kill it. And do you know what? Because Jason Riles has had raps on him as a coach for almost as long as Serralda has. And he's done a very long apprenticeship. He's been as an assistant for 10 years now. And under good coaches.
Yeah, anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to reserve any judgment. Honestly, I'm not going to jump the gun. I mean,
he's going to kill it. And I reckon Eels made the right move not picking Josh Hannay. I want to ask as well, surely Jerome Hughes has wrapped up the Dally M award by now. The guy is just killing it, bro.
Is he leading the Daily M's, or what's happening?
I mean, I don't know if he's leading it or not, but man, he is absolutely killing it. He's taken that team on his shoulders and just gone. Or like there are times where Grant, Pappenhausen, and Munster were out, and he was the only one, right? And he's killed it. I just think he's fantastic. Jamie Teasdale's mentioned Barrett to the Tigers as assistant. I really, 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 inshallah, hope not. I don't want the Tigers to stay shit.
I think he's going to the Broncos.
I really, really don't want the Tigers.
Honestly, I think the Broncos.
If he goes to the Broncos, I'm very happy.
Barrett was. It's funny. Barrett was actually at Wollongong on the weekend. The Dragons had their 25 year. So I was there with Mary McGregor as well. I was just.
But hey, can you imagine at one point Brad Arthur had both Mary McGregor and Trent Barrett as his assistants,
and Nathan Brown as. It was all the Dragons, and I think they made the grand final that year.
Oh man.
Anyways.
Quickly, Cowboys versus the Sharks. Look, I don't want to write any team off, but I have serious issues with the Sharks' defense. I don't think
even the Cowboys are not exactly convincing, because the Sharks gifted them a few tries.
They did. But it was just, I felt like the Cowboys.
I think they're both pretenders. I don't think they'll challenge for a premiership.
No, but you know what's interesting? They lost both Taumalolo and Ruben Cotter early on to HIAs, so they had to play with 15.
They're both pretenders for me.
Look,
they're not contenders for a premiership.
I reckon the Cowboys could come good.
I think you guys are way more of a threat than they are. I'm being honest. Matter of fact, it's unfair to put you guys and them in the same sentence at the moment. Even though you guys lost them 2 weeks ago, which should never have happened, but you guys are more of a threat than they are.
I appreciate that vote of confidence. I don't know.
I don't see any punch from them. I don't see how they can trouble them in defence.
Look, my one thing is their
defence is not there.
Pack. Very, very skilled second rowers, and they've got Dearden and Scott Drinkwater.
Defence is not there.
They are great. Look, I agree with you. They can't go far because of their defence. They have poor defence. The Sharks scored 22 against them.
And the Sharks gifted them tries.
And they scored 22 against them. We have only had more than 20 put against us.
I don't know. Oh,
you know what I mean? Like against the Roosters, and before then, we've kept most teams to below 4 tries a game, 3 tries a game. And I'm telling you, the Raiders won't score more than 3 tries against us on the weekend.
I think I got them down for 2 tries, and that's it, 10 points.
So I think it was a great hat trick by Kyle Felt, by the way. Good on him. But, ultimately, I think the Sharks are fading hard, and it's so good to see because I love it when the Sharks fade.
Their fans were cocky as.
Oh, bro. Their fans think they're going to go.
I think the crowning moment will be when the NRL finally shuts them down or just gets them to get swallowed up by the Dragons or relocated.
They've got too many. They've got
good junior base.
They've got too many fanboys.
But they just got no
journos that support the Sharks.
No, it's not that. They don't have the revenue coming in.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
It's dwindling. They've got a good junior base, but the money's just not coming into the club.
I don't know. I just think they're
the locals there aren't just spending anymore.
Yeah. I'm with you.
The older generations are moving out. The ones that were vested in the club, they don't seem to have a connection with the young. Imagine getting 11,000 when you're winning for the last. You have a good winning team for the last 10 years.
But you know what else? Channel 9 needs to give
him more exposure.
Gallen off Sharks games. He's the most insufferable.
Hey, I could say the same about Greg Alexander for Penrith.
I'm with you.
Or Gordon Tallis or
Corey Parker against the Broncos.
Or the whole Fox Sports crew when they honestly, have you seen them when they commentate the Roosters?
Bro.
It's ridiculous.
Surely they can get other commentators than ex-players to comment on these games. It's just it's insufferable. I can't do it. I just can't do it, man. It's just unbelievable.
Anyways, let's skim.
Roosters versus Eagles?
Yeah, quick. Roosters should have done that with ease. They just faded late.
Eagles did to the Roosters what the Roosters did to us in the first game.
They ran him down, but I think the Roosters should have won by more. But it's
the Dogs should have won by more that game as well.
Yeah, look, the Roosters will take it away. They'll be happy they got the 2 points, and they'll put it behind them. They're too much of a professional outfit to let sit there and just kick themselves. And Manly shouldn't get ahead of themselves. They should have lost by 3+ tries.
I think the Roosters won't be fazed by that. But it does show that they are vulnerable.
I think you got the Panthers, and then this is how I see it: the Panthers, the Storm, and then you got the next row there is the Roosters, Dogs.
Maybe.
You're with the Dogs. I mean, with the Roosters.
I'd like to believe that. I think the Seagulls are pretenders. They'll buckle at the first sign of pressure.
That's another pretender.
Honestly, they'll buckle at the first sign of pressure.
They've lost to the Dragons this year. That says it all you need to know about it.
The Dragons played well against them, to be honest, but I just feel like the Manly doesn't have the defense to go far in the finals. I reckon they'll fall over.
Manly will lose to sides coming 12th and 14th. There you go. That's enough you need to know about them. Next game.
Dragons, Panthers. I'll hold that over to you.
Panthers, I went there just to observe Cleary and Luai. It's just crazy. If you ever want your kids are coming through in that, take them to a game, get them to watch what Cleary and Luai do in terms of organising the team, the talking, how they sell it, how cool-headed they are. They know they don't have to be in every play. But just to let you guys know, they didn't need to get out of second or third gear. They beat the Dragons with 2 players on the bench. Should have been 50-point lead at halftime. They should have won that game by 70+. The Dragons fans just they stood there and just marvelled at the Panthers. It's just they're such a well-oiled machine.
Can I ask? I thought that the Dragons for the first 15 to 20 minutes defended well.
Look, you're not the first to tell me this, but I'll point out something. A lot of people watched it at home on TV. You had to be at the game to realise what the actual intensity was. Panthers they didn't flex their muscles the whole game.
I'm with you, but I want to ask you a question.
They were just going for the motions at the start. They were
why did they buckle? Why did the Dragons buckle at the sign of any pressure?
They don't have a...
Is it leadership?
No. It's not. They don't have a good squad. Okay, I have to keep repeating myself. Their squad is nowhere near as good as other clubs. They don't have the personnel. They don't have leaders, as you touched on. So I just hit the microphone. But they don't have personnel, as you touched on. They don't have leaders, like you said. So they don't have people that come from a winning culture. Their leader at the club is a halfback. He's probably been spoiled over the years with Wayne at Brisbane, and then plays with a star-studded Brisbane lineup, Queensland lineup, and he's won it out before, and he's on a big pay packet. That's their leader. That's not a good example. Look at Canterbury's leadership pack. Josh Adokar, coming from a highly successful Melbourne Storm. Stephen Crichton, He's helped build the dynasty at the Panthers. You know, I thought Crichton. You know, I honestly thought that when Crichton left this year to go to the Dogs, I thought Panthers have lost one player too many now, and they wouldn't be able to retain a 4 in a row. But they're still in the hunt. But we don't know. We don't know until the grand final comes whether his loss is too significant or not.
Can you imagine we play them in the grand final and he pulls out the miracle play to win it for us against?
Well, then that proves my point. He is the player that broke the camel's back.
I think I would both cry, fight, and shit myself at the same time. Because
Will you then become insufferable?
Yes, bro, I'll be insufferable. Can you imagine that? We go from being the worst defensive team in history to winning a grand final.
I think Finch will be insufferable as well, and Brian as well, and all you Dogs fans.
But
I'm watching you, Dog fans.
Hey, he's going to keep us honest. He's going to keep us on our toes.
I'm watching you, boys.
But can I just say, Hunt was really poor. Hunt, look, he wants everybody to respect him.
Yeah, but he's on how much?
But he can't play at that level where he deserves the respect.
He's not a market. He's the worst marquee player in the game. He's earning about $1 million. He kicked the ball out 4 times out on the 4 on the weekend. Did absolutely nothing in attack. And then you watch Cleary and Loy on the other side, and I thought, geez, they're miles ahead of this guy.
I'm with you. And
that's a marquee. They're marquee players.
And you know what? I don't know, like, what do you guys think? I don't know if you guys follow the Dragons as much, but I was thinking, I think Ben Hunt needs to go into 9. I think that they should have.
He does, but
and there's they could bring Marshke in to 7, or they can even blood a young Cade Reed.
I've heard Marshke's. I mean, somebody a few times told me he's going to the Dolphins. I hope that's not the case. Like, I can't have Hunt playing for halfback. Look, I'd actually release him.
Yeah, why not get someone like Sean Sullivan? I think Sean Sullivan would be a great 7 for you guys.
Sean Sullivan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From the Dolphins.
I think he's going with his dad to Newcastle. I think.
You really?
Yeah, the Dragons. See, just show you how the Dragons can't sign players. They were listed as favourites to sign Peter O'Sullivan, who is actually originally a local from the area, plays junior footy there. I think he coached their President's Cup once upon a time. And then still somehow bottled bringing him back to the club. And then I got no hopes, really. Honestly, I got no hopes of them signing either of the Saifidis, to be honest. So
no, please don't say that. I really hope they sign the
I don't know. You know, I went to Wollongong on a Sunday, and a lot of you go down to Wollongong in the South Coast. What a beautiful area. As if you couldn't sell the region to players from other states, other areas, to live down the South Coast or in Wollongong.
Yeah, it's
such
a
the
beautiful
area.
Bro. It's the infighting. I want to quickly also touch on Warriors and West's Tigers. Warriors blew them out off the park, I thought.
No, I think West did okay, to be honest. I know Warriors still got the W. What was it in the end, 14 points or something?
28-16, so it wasn't too bad.
I thought Tigers did all right, to be honest.
I thought Tigers could have won that. But
I don't think the Warriors are going to make the 8, to be honest.
Look, I want them to, and I think they still have the...
They've left it late.
Yeah, they've left it late.
It was that slump they had in the middle of the year.
I agree with you. Look, Tigers, all I can say to Tigers fans is just be patient. Next year, you guys have got Luai, you got Taruva, you may even get Brian To'o. You know,
they're making signings, something the Dragons are.
Yeah, and look,
the Dragons will go backwards next year if they can't get forwards.
Yeah.
They'll go back to 16th or 17th.
Who?
The Dragons.
No, I think the Dragons will be better.
They've overachieved to be sitting whatever 9th or 10th so far.
I think
overachieved.
I think Damien Cook will add a lot to their team.
They got no forwards.
Look, I reckon they'll get Saifidi.
If they can get him and his brother, that will help.
Yeah, they won't get his brother. They'll get him.
I think his brother wants to leave now.
Well, look, if you're being coached by Adam O'Brien, you wouldn't want to stay there anyway.
I think there's a player revolt happening there.
Yeah, I think he's just a rubbish coach. Like, with all due respect,
you know what? We actually said that last year. Then he went on that fluky run because Kalen Ponga was carrying.
Yeah, and look, it's too late for him to make the finals this year. That's the truth.
Yeah, true.
You know, and just on your point, Dibbo, Dom's mentioned that he went to watch Penrith versus Dogs at Penrith last year, and the way the Panthers warmed up was intimidating. We knew we'd lose by 40 before the game started. And that sort of goes to show what you were saying about just how the look that that the Panthers have about them. Brad Cambridge, Kyle will save Dragons, best 6 in the game. Look, Kyle tries his absolute heart out for the Dragons week in, week out. I can't even really blame him for the losses.
No. Honestly, if Shane Flanagan was fair dinkum, his son shouldn't be in that first 13. He's got to be honest to the club, the players and the fans. He's got to stop picking his son. He does not warrant a spot in the 13.
Who goes 6 then?
Somebody's already told me, but Marshke's been injured. But I'm going back before Marshke had the hamstring issues the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He's played Marshke's played 2 games in the last 6 weeks and won both, right? But all right, if Marshke's not fit, there's another guy that St. George got from Canterbury, Jonah Glover.
Oh, yes,
I've been watching him
yes.
in the reserve.
He's a bit young though, man.
Doesn't matter.
What about Cade Reid?
He deserves his spot ahead of Flanagan. He runs at the line. Hunt needs a more dominant half with him. I'm watching Flanagan on the weekend. He's a bloody first grader, and he's running sideways to give the ball to who? Sully. He's taking the time and space away from Sully. How does a first grader do that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Straighten up, lad.
Yeah.
If you don't want to run at the line, go to England.
And you know what's amazing though? Sully, even when the Panthers, when the Panthers were smashing you guys, I thought like Sully was giving 100%.
He was with limited time and space because Flanagan's running sideways.
He was killing it.
Like I'm standing on the hill, and I'm nobody. I'm a has-been, right? I'm not a first grader or anything. But this guy's a first grader with his father sitting in the box, running sideways.
Yeah.
I hope this gets to Shane Flanagan. But fair dinkum, mate. Stop picking your son.
You know, we're going to make that a short, tag him in it, see how he goes. Excuse me. Hades says Dragons can have Hutchison back free of charge. Look, man, Hutchison did a great job for us. He did a great job for us.
You know what? He served his role. We touched on this earlier 100%. In the podcast. Soraldo knew what he was doing, and he's still part of if he's not part of the 17, he's still part of the 21.
And God forbid
his purpose is there.
And God forbid if we get any injuries, I think that he'll serve a good job for us. That's what I think. So, I think Hutchison did a great job for us when he was needed. Quickly, some guy on Twitter thinks that the Dragons are going as good as the Bulldogs when you compare the time the coaches had.
Can I have that guy's name?
And the rosters. No.
No, give me his name so I can just offer some abuse. Come on.
Bro, I just can't get on board with that thinking. It's just like saying
they are worlds apart.
That's like saying the Bulldogs are as good as the Storm given the personnel that we have. Honestly, if you want to talk about relative,
there is no way you can compare Canterbury. What are they? 2 points out of the Dragons?
Yeah.
I can't believe the Dragons are only 2 points behind them. If anything, it feels like they're about 10 to 14 points behind them. You cannot compare. Like, it's cruel on Canterbury that they're actually only 2 points out of the Dragons. They're that much better in terms of defence and attack this year. I think their for and against is about 200 difference to top it off.
It is 200.
And the Dragons have been gifted 3 or 4 wins this year. They've played sides missing personnel. So, don't be fooled. Do not be fooled. There is no way they're going near as good as the Bulldogs.
We have leaked.
Can I also have the name now?
No, we have leaked 170 less points than the Dragons.
I think they're about 200 plus better than us overall.
180.
Well, 170. I'm about right anyway. So yeah.
Like you're
Can I still
spot
have
on.
his name?
No.
So I'll just jump on Twitter and just laugh at the guy. What was his name?
Holden Forever, he says if you throw someone into the deep end that isn't ready, you end up with Khalid Rajab, had promised but now gone from the NRL. Look, honestly, Khalid Rajab is one
He's
of
not gone from the NRL. I think I think he'll come back.
He's a hard worker. And
he's doing well out the Newtown. Cronulla's been giving him raps.
He is, but I do agree with what Holden Forever has said in that I think blooding him too early did sort of compromise his ability, and that's really, really sad.
Hey, I just didn't have my dad coaching. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
If my dad was a coach, I think I'd be a first grader by now. A long time ago.
I want to talk about Dolphins and Titans. Look, I think the Dolphins have overachieved in the regular season due to their favourable draw. They've had most of their games up in Brisbane. Have probably only played 4 or 5 times in New South Wales, in Sydney. And I think they'll struggle when it actually matters. I think they'll drop out of the 8. I'm really honest with you. I think that the Dolphins will drop out of the 8. They're fading harder than the Sharks.
I think they'll hold on. There's just too much of a gap, I think. Oh, you could be right. How many rounds we got? 6 still?
Yeah, 6 rounds.
Oh, if they start losing all their games or they're barely winning, I think there's just too many. There's just a gap. After Canberra, there's a gap. Dragons and Canberra, there's a gap, a 4-point gap. It depends on how many games do Canberra and St. George.
Yeah.
I think Canberra's more of a chance making the 8 than the Dragons.
I also think...
And look, Manly's only a point ahead of them. Yeah. So Manly could fall out as well. It's a matter of keeping your players
I hope Manly
fit.
falls out. I can't stand... I don't want Manly to be in the final. They don't deserve to be there, bro.
Luke Brooks' streak continues.
Bro, I just... I hope they're not there. I don't like Manly.
Anyways.
Look, I'll really be honest. I hate Manly and I hope they bomb out. Even though I like the Trebojevic boys, I couldn't care less for Manly, to be honest. I hate DC's head. So you know, and I have to say, like, it was a great comeback by the Titans. They were losing 14-0, and they came back and won.
I thought Dolphins were going to run away with it, and then 14-0. What? 21-14.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. It was a good comeback, man. I think Des has done well with the team that he's got. And
Can you imagine if they didn't have that poor start to the year? Plus Tino being out for the year.
I was going to say they would have. They've had a lot of injuries recently.
Credit to Des. They were looking at the spoon 0-8. Look at him go.
And look at Jaden Campbell is. I think he's playing out of his skin at 6, and he's only going to get better there. And even there, Keanu, I think it's Keanu Kinney at fullback. But for a young kid, the guy's
first year,
so good. What a talent! And I think there is enough talent for more than for 18, 19 teams. I genuinely do.
No,
I genuinely
no
think so,
way.
man.
Like after watching some of the drop balls I saw last week or the week before,
Bro,
some of the players,
I think the problem is the game's too
10
quick.
teams. We're at 10 teams.
Bro, the game's too quick. It's the shit rules, not the talent. It's the shit rules, not the
High
talent.
quality players, we got enough only for 10 teams.
Bro, it's the shit rules, not the talent. I don't
Milton,
care what
Georgia,
anyone
and
says.
Cronulla, that's
Anyway.
one out of the way.
Anyway, well done to the Titans. You guys will be, bigger and better next year. Tarek, I'm saying if the NRL games were 60 minutes, Dolphin will do premiers.
Father had Penrith beat,
point.
but then Penrith just turned it on. Jeez.
Quickly, if you have just joined us, we have been going for about an hour and a half. Please give us a thumbs up. And what we do have, and I've got the link pinned in the chat, is we have memberships open. So if you'd like to join and become a member of the podcast, it costs about $6.99 a month, probably the cost of a coffee. And what that does is it helps the podcast just pay for the costs of running the studio and things like that. Look, we don't make money off it. I don't think we ever will. This just helps us cover some of the costs, and it does come with some perks. So you do get, custom emojis, custom display pictures and things like that. But also, what we do is when we do have guests coming on, and we have people like Terry Lamb, Hasmul Masri, and some other really exciting guests coming on, we will give you the opportunity to ask them questions directly, and you will only get that if you remember. So if it is something that you have been thinking about or would like to support the podcast, the link's right there. Please feel free to just click on it and join. If not, just give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, share the podcast with all your friends. Now, just want to really quickly wrap up Raiders and Rabbitohs. Look, it was a good performance by the Raiders. Fogarty makes such a massive difference to their side. But I don't think they played that well, to be honest. Rabbitohs were just really, really poor, missing a lot of players. Good on the Raiders, but they're in for a shellacking this week against the Dogs. I will say that the Rabbitohs are playing like they put the cue in the rack. They know they won't play finals footy.
Yeah, that's right. I was just admiring. I was just turning around and having a look at that. It's been 20 years, lads. The number 4, although it's an unlucky number for the Chinese, they're very superstitious. It looks like for the Canterbury club.
It's a lucky number.
It's a lucky number. 74, they made the grand final. 84, they won it. 94, they made the grand final. And then 2004, they won. 2014, they made the grand final. 2024, I'll tell you what, they're back in the finals.
Oh, they are in the final. Let's see if we can make the grand final.
It's good. I'm just looking at your immortal, and I will call him the immortal. 2004, that forward pack is the greatest forward pack I have ever seen assembled.
Greatest bench I think we've ever seen as well.
I mean, just the forwards, the names there. Like, I'm just, I'm going through your 1 to 17. Like, I just want to name names there: Sonny Bill Williams, Roy Asatasi, Rennie Matua, Andrew Ryan, Willie Mason. Steve Price was injured in that grand final, and then you got Mark O'Mealy. Like, what a fair dinkum forward pack. Like, wow.
Incredible.
Like, I didn't mention, I feel bad, I didn't mention Perry and Grimaldi and Corey Hughes, but even they'll appreciate that those guys were just levels above. And look, you even had Jamie Feeney as 19th man. Like, he was very capable. Good, and then look, Jonathan Thurston was on the bench in that game, and he's one of the greatest halfbacks of all time.
Quickly, just to get back on the Raiders and Rabbitohs, I have to say, I think Tane Milne has to be the silliest player in the
Sorry, gents, I was fanboying the 04 side. Anyways.
Tane Milne just makes dumb decisions, dumb errors. I just don't get.
He's a drama, eh? He's all about drama on the field.
I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand. But I will tell you something. Keon Kolomatangi is developing into an Adam Fanua-Blake style player.
He's put on a lot of size.
Bro, the minutes and effort that he plays with
he's a big boy,
week, bro, he's averaging like 200, 250 meters a game. The amount of tackles he makes, it's just incredible. And I reckon Wayne is going to get the best out of him next year.
He knows how to utilize him.
Exciting. Very, very exciting for the Rabbitohs. with that, I think we have come to the end. It's been such a mad, podcast. And you know what? Every single week it gets better and better. Really, really appreciate having you guys on. We've been at 50 viewers, pretty much the whole podcast. I'm so, proud, blessed, honored that you guys join us for the podcast. I have no words to sort of describe how much the support means to us. We are trying to grow the podcast as much as we can. So if you do know, people that love talking footy, that love, interacting, share the podcast with them. Let them know that we're here every Tuesday at 10 p.m. We just love. I love talking footy, love talking rugby league. As the weeks go on, we'll probably start reorienting the podcast so that we do talk a little bit more about the games that other than the Bulldogs, but it will always be Bulldogs focused, I promise. But we do want to talk more about the other competition, the other games in the competition. With that, I want to say to everybody, have a good night. Look, I really hope the boys come out on Sunday and destroy the Raiders. It's going to be a party in Belmore. Drums are going to be beating. Dogs are going to be barking. Any last words, Dibbo, before we wrap up?
I think I give my prediction. Bulldogs by 36, 46-10. Don't bottle it, Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs don't bottle it.
This will definitely, if they win this week, if the next few weeks will set them up nicely for a top 4 finish. I think it's going to be. I'm looking. I think more and more people are going to jump on the bandwagon.
People are going to start to believe.
I think your flags are going to start coming out in the streamers on the car.
They already have.
I think Belmore. I think I'm going to. I go to Burger District there. I don't think I'm going to be able to park on that street. I've got a feeling I got to park where the real estate or the hairdressers is down on the other side and just have to walk up to go have a burger. And even then, the waiting time might be an hour. That's it's actually been getting busy lately. In that whole strip.
Yeah, because
especially after Bulldogs games. Like, it is crazy. Yeah. I'll go up there to have a feed. I'll drive from my house because I love the burger shop there. I know I keep talking about the burger shop. Sponsor us if you're watching. But honestly, I used to get in and maybe wait 15 minutes for my food. It would be full, but now there's 40, 50 people waiting in all in Bulldogs gear. And
it's crazy.
Like the Pasta La Vista across the road's busy and the kebab shop's busy and,
when the dogs are well, when
the whole strip's
Bulldogs
busy.
Are doing well, the whole community's doing well. Look, he's to a great game. I'm hoping that we absolutely kill it on the weekend. I will be at the game, so if you do see my head, please come say hi. Talk to me. I love meeting you guys. We're all just fans. Going through life and enjoying the motion. So if you do see me, please come say hi. Just have a chat. Let's talk footy. Let's just cheer on the boys together. So if you do see me, come and see me. Come have a chat. Come say hi. If not, you know what? You can tell me to get effed, and that's all good too. But thank you so much for all your time. For everyone that's still here, for everyone that's been on the chat with us, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. For everybody that gave us a super chat, it means the absolute world to us. For all our members, thank you so much. And we look forward to speaking with you guys next Tuesday at the same time. If you don't support the Dogs, I hope your team does well. Unless you support the Eels, in which case I hope you continue to lose. Have a great week. Great weekend. We'll see you so soon. Have a good one. Take care, guys.
Looking forward to the next one. See you, lads.